Hey everybody, and welcome back to 80's horror films. Sorry, it's been a long time. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and unfortunately, my co-host generally is Rebecca Reinhart, and she has been on she's been so busy every single time we were supposed to do this particular episode. She kept saying yes and then having to, cancel at the last minute, which, is understandable when she is a busy, busy, busy person. So Paul can't even get her on Sexploitation Sleazecast anymore because she's just busy, busy, busy. So we decided, I asked her sweetly just because I didn't want to, step on her toes, but I said, do you mind if I just keep doing it without you for a while until you're ready to come back? And she said, sure. I think she said that's like what she was probably going to tell me anyway. But or we're just gonna take a break from 80's horror films. But I figured we started off the season. We've already done two. This is the third episode. We might as well continue going. So I got an awesome co-host and guest who was on. She's not going to be the co-host for everything. We're going to do like guests, guests every month now. But to start it off, I thought Madeline Deering. How you doing, Madeline?
Good. How are you?
Good. So Madeline is my co-host for 90's horror films, and it was her idea because I said something about not doing 90's horror films, and she's like, "Why not?" Yeah,
Yeah, why not? The Dentist was in the 90s. I basically just wanted to review The Dentist. So.
I know you want to review and
Dr.
Dr. Giggles.
Giggles, those two.
Yeah,
And the
and then the
Surgeon.
next one, which we
Whatever in
won't
the
mention,
90s.
that'll be on the next season. We got plenty more where that came from.
There's lots of great 90s horror, just
I
like the
know.
80s.
Yep, yep. So there you go. 80's and 90's are my favorite year for horror. Um, People say and some of the 2000's actually too. People say 70's and 60's, 50's, whatever, but 70's maybe, but not my cup of tea as well. I grew up watching Scream, so 90's and then and Friday the 13th, which by the way, happy October 13th. This is going to be coming out on Friday the 13th. So happy Friday the 13th, everybody.
Friday the 13th, I'll be seeing the Eras Tour movie that day.
Oh yeah, that's right. You'll be a Taylor
Elvis.
Swift. You're a Swiftie.
I am. So
I
I
don't
can't
even
wait
know
when it's
why
in
they call them that.
Amazon.
Like they could have done something better. I just don't like the name
What's it?
Swiftie.
Swifty? I think
Yeah.
it's a cute name.
I don't know. I think I keep thinking it could be better, but whatever.
I
So
wonder who came up with that in the first place.
it probably wasn't Taylor. Somebody just said, "Oh,
Probably
I'm a
them.
Swiftie,"
Yeah.
and then people just caught on. I don't know. But we're not here to talk about Taylor Swift. We're here to talk about Blades, a 1980 what? 80 what was this?
I don't know.
89. So it's close to 90's, which does feel sort of 90's. But this is my what is it? Vinegar Syndrome
Yeah.
release. You people at home who are on the podcast here cannot see, but I'm holding up a Blades Blu-ray.
I
If
can
this were on
mostly see
4K,
it.
I get it. What?
I can kind of see it.
Yeah, you can kind of, because I have for you people also at home that don't know, I have a backdrop behind me of the movie, probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Um, so you're also a Jaws fan, right?
Of course, I love shark
You love
movies.
sharks. So this was probably up your scary alley then,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Had you seen this before?
I had I have the Trauma Triple Beheader it was originally on with Bloodhook and why do I always forget the other movie? Zombie Island Massacre, maybe.
Okay.
So I've had that for years. So I watched it when I was younger. I remember kind of enjoying it, but not being super into it. But watching it now, I had forgotten a lot of it, and I forgot how much of a great parody of Jaws it is and how perfect it is. So I much enjoyed it more now that I'm a bit older because when I watched it when I was younger, I wanted it was trauma. I wanted gore and whatever. and now I kind of get it a little better.
I
Better.
love that though. Like this movie in particular, I think is freaking fun because they set out like they knew that this was not just a parody of Jaws, but this was basically shot for shot Jaws, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like they have almost every scene, at least every really good scene in the movie, done in this version, you know? Like obviously I was waiting for the time where a woman was gonna slap the guy or whatever. Just like I
Yeah,
knew that was gonna happen because I've seen this movie. I was like, when is that gonna happen? And then it didn't happen when I thought it was gonna happen, you know?
but
But it happens. And then like a lot of this stuff just made me laugh. Like I I don't know. I just have fun. Like everybody who made it looked like they were having fun. They knew what they were doing, you know. They weren't
and I think they
trying.
all kind of play it kind of straight. They're not. I mean, it's funny, but they kind of play the whole story straight, I think.
Well, I've been talking to people and that's called like camp, where you
Yeah,
take it really seriously, even though you know what you're saying and what you're doing
it,
is stupid.
that's what makes it work so well.
I know, like, if you can just deliver these lines without cracking a smile,
Yeah,
like, that's awesome. But yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's one of, um, I had not seen it. Like, I bought it, this year, I think, and I bought it going, this sounds fun and I need more Vinegar Syndrome stuff. Like I want to have my Vinegar Syndrome collection bigger and bigger and bigger. By
of course.
next year it'll like be even bigger, and then the next year after that, and whatnot. And I do my show, The Blu-ray Hunter, where I actually show off the movies that I get and talk about them and whatnot. And this movie by far is like, I don't know. I wanted to do this for like Blu-ray Hunter or horror film lovers like reviews. And then I was like, no, this is 80's horror films. This is either that or maybe a What the F Friday. I don't know. It's
It can work
close
for either one.
enough. It's close enough. But there's other ones that we're gonna do for What the F Friday, and so I'm really excited about that. But yeah, this is just grade A ridiculousness, not to be taken seriously, but it's taken seriously, as you pointed out. Do you want to mention what's on this if people are interested in getting it, like the special features, because it is stuff that, like this is Vinegar Syndrome. You're gonna get it's not gonna be bare bones. Newly scanned and restored in 2K from its 35 millimeter original camera negative, so they made it look better, you know.
It
Commentary
looks a
track.
lot better than the old Trauma DVD it was on.
Yes, it looks better than that. And then I think
Actually, I mean, I don't have the Blu-ray, but I watched it on Tubi
it
just
looked
because I thought, okay, it might look better, whatever. And I remember kind of compared to how it looked on the DVD, so they did a good job.
okay, so the scan you saw on Tubi was probably this scan.
Yeah,
Was more of
I'm
this.
reflectively sure.
Okay. So yeah, Troma doesn't. Troma, even their Blu-rays, which I buy their Blu-rays because my DVDs are scratched. I don't buy them because they're going to be upscaled or better looking, because Troma is Troma. They will basically just say, "We're just giving you a Blu-ray version of this movie." We're not
Pretty much.
making this any better. We'll give it to
Besides
Vinegar
my
Syndrome to
Vinegar
make it better.
Syndrome, yeah, upscaling and restoring a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, like you said, Blood Hook, and we did that for 80's horror films, and they did the same thing. And it looks great.
Yeah.
Like absolutely great. Um, honestly, if I had to pick, I'd pick this over Blood Hook. I like Blood
I don't
Hook.
remember Hook very well. I need to rewatch that one as well.
My biggest problem with Blood Hook, and I might have mentioned it in the podcast or not. My biggest problem with it was it it was too much of a slasher, you know? If they went more goofy like this does, I think I would have had more fun. But I think they took that one really seriously, where it wasn't even, like when you
Yeah.
hear a movie called Blood Hook, I thought it was literally a fisherman who would kill you with his reel and rod and reel or something. Like I got excited thinking people were gonna get like they're like like tongues ripped
Yeah.
out or of them or whatever, with the hooks and stuff. But no, it's really just a slasher person who's killing people while there's a like a fishing competition or whatever, happening. There's commentary track with director Thomas R. Rondinella and writer William R. Pace. So you guys get a commentary track. I have not listened to it, but someday I will, I'm sure. Forewarning, four spelled FORE, like forewarning. A making of documentary featuring interviews with cast and crew, and then like still gathering and cool thing. Let me take. You're gonna see my messy room in a second, but it's okay. I don't think anyone else will unless I decide they're allowed to on this thing. You're gonna also see a bunch of random pictures pop up. All right, but so this is the TV. This is the Blu-ray, right? Then that's the reversible art. So
Oh
it's either
yeah.
that or that.
That's
Hmm.
one thing I love about Bettinger syndrome. I love the reversible art.
I mean, you can either get, usually they give you like either the original artwork that was on like the VHS or
Or like
whatever,
new and
and newly commissioned art, So, um, I'm just gonna leave it like this for the rest of the time. It's a podcast. Nobody's gonna see anyway. Um,
yeah.
but
I mean,
yeah,
I see a Jaws poster back there, so
yeah. Well, it's one of my favorite films of all time. That's actually the wall of my favorite films right there. Oh God. All right. So it starts with, oh God, you can't see. Starts with Ed Wood, True Romance, Chasing Amy, Princess Bride, Ghostbusters, Karate Kid, Jaws, and Scream. And then
nice.
that's my top eight, I think. And then I'm gonna put nine and 10, and then hopefully up to 20 my top 20 films of all time, the ones I'm like can watch. And Dead Man on Campus is up there, which nobody
I
will put
thought that
Dead
was
Man
Dead
on.
Man on Campus.
But
I thought that was Dead Man on
yeah,
Campus.
Dead Man on Campus, nobody will fucking put on their like top, 20
It's a
general
great
things.
movie.
Oh, it is. I met Lachlan Monroe, played Cliff, and made him sign the thing saying, "My name is Cliff, brother of Joe. I got me some crack. I want me some hoes." I made him sign the whole thing because he just said, "Oh, you just want
Wow.
my name is Cliff, brother of Joe?" And I go, "No, I want the whole, I want the whole thing on there, buddy." Uh, he was great. He was a good sport, and he told me, okay, so we drink energy drinks these days, but they didn't have that back then. He had to drink lots and lots of coffee to get hyped up like he did.
Yeah.
Coffee doesn't do that to me. It just, you know, um, it just does make my heart race, but doesn't make me hyper necessarily. Um, so all right. So anyway, to go back to Blades. So the movie is, as we said, it's Jaws, in a golf course, on a what is it, a club,
Yeah.
thing. The back of the art says, "The Tall Grass Country Club offers its members a luxury getaway with all the best in sport and relaxation. But when a mangled body is discovered on the club's prize golf course right before a nationally televised tournament, panic ensues at the possibility of a killer on the loose, and even worse, that the death might cause bad press." Yeah, of course, because that's Jaws, right? Can't have bad press because we have a tournament coming on happening. Um, Enlisting the expertise of Roy, a has-been golf pro, along with the disgruntled pro hopeful Kelly, to unmask the culprit behind the carnage. The club's hard-nosed owner soon finds himself with even bigger problems when additional victims begin to turn up, and all the signs point to a killer being an out of control, bloodthirsty lawnmower. It's not a it's not a shark. It's a lawnmower, you know. Though nobody's ever made grass shark.
Grass shark. Yeah, land shark, whatever, no grass
Snow
shark.
shark,
Sand
avalanche
shark,
sharks. What?
sand sharks, but no grass shark.
Yeah. Why not grass shark?
Yeah, why not?
Make it, Madeline. You're that I will give that to you. Um, a highly original send up to Jaws from the makers of Girls
Gross.
School Screamers. Have you seen that?
A long time ago.
Thomas R. Rondinella's Blades is goofy, gory, and more than a little bit absurd. Vinegar Syndrome presents the worldwide Blu-ray debut of the traumatic classic, freshly restored in 2K. Freshly, that's kind of funny that they say that. I don't know if they did that on purpose because of fresh cut grass. Freshly,
Yeah.
freshly restored in 2K. I bet they did because, that seems really, very specific. From its 35 millimeter original negative and featuring in-depth making of documentary. So yeah, there was a great documentary on it. I saw some of that, the forewarning documentary. And that's where I got to like find out that the guy actually that I mean that's what he did. He just pitched to people and he said, for our next movie, we want to do basically these two different ideas that we have. And everybody just fell in love with the idea of Jaws in a country club. Like,
Who won?
I mean, yeah. Nowadays we get so many like rip-offs of Jaws, but this might have been like one of the first that took it where it wasn't a shark, you know?
Yeah. It's very creative.
Right. But now, I mean, Snow Shark is a rip-off of Jaws.
But yeah.
Um, a lot of them are, and that's because homage to Jaws, whatever you want to call it, rip off, homage, whatever. They love Jaws. They love making, these kind of movies and whatnot. And I get it, because these are a lot of fun. Um, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
Oh, I don't know. I like when the three of them are together and they're in whatever vehicle they have and
The
they're kind of
long,
going after yeah.
yeah, I forgot what that's called, but it
Yeah.
looked like a Zamboni for the thing, but yeah, they're going after the shark with that like big trucky
They
thing.
even do the part where they talk about it and sitting around waiting for the lawnmower. That just the whole kind of where they're hunting.
I
And I
mean, you're
also like when they talk about like what actually my favorite part is when they get the wrong lawnmower and he goes and cuts it open and the Playboy falls out. And actually, that's my favorite part.
I was
I
thinking
changed
about
my
that scene because he's like he hangs it
the
up
golf
like it's
balls fall out. Yeah,
yeah, he
it's
hangs it up and then they're going through it like they're gutting the fish. The only problem I
it's
had with the
so
movie was I really wanted that scene where the person's like doing this, like,
yeah.
mimicking his father or whatever, like I wish he had a son that did that randomly, but like it didn't follow Jaws's because there, like the lead person was the golf pro. He wasn't
Yeah,
the chief of police. Um, I think there was a chief of police, and there wasn't the mayor trying to stop. It was the owner of the golf
yeah,
place.
exactly.
What I mean,
Because it's
and
gonna be televised. This is a big deal, which he reminds you 80 times.
it's gonna be televised. This is a big deal. We need to make sure, blah blah blah. And like, I love that. Like, I don't know. Like to think that this was made in the 80's, this feels like something that would be done now.
Yeah,
Like I bet somebody out there is going, we need another spoof or whatever of Jaws. Let's do a whole like Jaws, not on a golf course, but
yeah,
uh, there's
something.
There's so many different ones that they could do. Like I'm sure, I'm just not thinking right now. I kept thinking Jaws in space, but that's sort of been done with Sharks in Space or something. I know even Sharknado
Dark
went.
Side of the Moon or Shark Encounters of the Third Kind.
I know what is it? Sharknado went up to space, right?
They did in part three.
Was it part three? Oh hell
Yeah.
no.
Oh hell no. I mean, oh hell yes, that happened in part three.
That was a yeah, that was an interesting one. Wasn't it the one where the president was Mark Cuban? Or is that four or
Yeah.
two? I don't know. Here's a tidbit, and I don't know if I'm supposed to tell this information or not, but I'm going to because I overheard it and it's amazing because I was on the set of Collision Earth, which was made by the Asylum, and David Michaelet was having a nice conversation with Eric Roberts where I just was sort of inserted myself into somehow. I don't even remember. I think I think what happened was I met David Michaelet there, and I said, I'm Jonathan Moody, and I don't know if he remembered me because we did used to talk, before.
Yeah.
And somehow or another, like he starts talking, and he's talking to Eric Roberts, and he's telling him that they asked Trump to be
Yep.
the president.
No,
And
that's
then
actually like I'm not gonna say it's common knowledge, but I actually did
okay, good. So I'm not
hear
saying
that.
anything that's not.
No,
So here's
that's known maybe on IMDb,
So they
trivia,
asked
whatever. You read it
Trump
somewhere.
to be the president, and
Yep.
Trump's people said no, just because he's going to run for president in 2016, and we don't want him we don't want, you know what I mean? Like it's just going to
Yeah.
uh, it'll look bad if like he's playing the president of something like this or something, and whatnot. And I said, okay, fine, great, no problem. So they went to Mark Cuban. And I said, would you like to play? And he was like, sure. He had no interest in running for president for real. So he was just like, I'd get to play the president. Trump's people got so mad and came back and said, you can't put Mark Cuban as the president of the United States. Apparently Trump and Cuban don't like each other or whatever. And he's like, why not? I was like, yeah, they don't like each other. And they said, well,
And
too bad. We're doing that. And it's like, if you do that, we're gonna make sure you guys never, get this movie out there or whatever.
oh my
Trump's people
God.
never did. They never did. But it's just so funny because, like, I don't think Trump cared,
I
Like,
want who cares?
I know, like, it's just a silly movie. And one you turned down because I think David Michael Ladd even told him, like, you turned it down. Like, I mean,
It's Sharknado.
we just went with the next available millionaire, billionaire that we could find. So funny. Anyway,
For real.
moving on from that, but I thought that was a funny little side bit of
Oh yeah,
information.
yeah.
And all you people know, and if I told some information I wasn't supposed to, oh well. I don't think this will get back to the Trump administration anyway, and like nor
I
do
want
they would they care. They have a few bigger issues right now going on in this world that my little podcast does not like matter as much on um but anywho so yeah um to go back to Blades, the movie we're talking about. I mean, you can talk about Blades, but you have to talk about movies like Sharknado and all the other ones that sort of came on after this. But there were some there were some shark ones that were made like right after Jaws, got big. Like wasn't there like,
oh,
a whole bunch of them? And you've probably seen a bunch of like
and a lot of
70's.
Italian ones too, like Cruel Jaws, which takes everything from Jaws 1 through 3 and just makes it into an Italian or Great White or uh,
Paul always finds these like have you ever seen like Turkish Star Wars?
oh no, I have some type of Star Wars ripoff.
There's
I
like
have a lot of that. I haven't really watched them yet.
so he made me watch Turkish Star Wars, and it's like the Turkish people didn't understand what Star Wars was, but they tried to copy it in some way, you know? So it just didn't make
Yeah.
any sense necessarily, but like it was so bad it was terrible. I think on
Oh,
our stinkometer it got a 30, if I'm
I have
correct.
a Turkish Rambo, which I still need to watch.
Dude, I'm gonna talk to him about that. We need to do Turkish Rambo. If we do it, we'll do it with you. You know,
Okay.
I'll talk to him about it.
I've seen like Time of the Apes. I think it's like a Japanese Planet of the Apes ripoff, which is really fun.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, so I'm gonna also read it, and we'll talk while I read this, but I'm gonna read the synopsis on Wikipedia, and usually very in depth. So let's see if it is on this one. Usually the plot is pretty long. Oh, it is. So we'll be able to actually go through the movie, and then also I do this occasionally because it's been a little bit. I watched this a little while ago and haven't watched it since, really. And I should have re-watched it today, but so it was fresh, like cut grass. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, during a camping trip, two teenagers are killed by an unseen force whilst making out in a field near to the. Oh my God, whoever did this is terrible grammar. Near the Tall Grass Country Club's famed golf course, and their mangled bodies are discovered the next morning. I do remember that, and I thought
Yeah.
that was a terrible scene in the movie because like it was fun when the golf when you see the lawnmower for the first time, it looks like dun, and like and that's when
Yeah.
because I didn't know this was a Jaws ripoff. I just
Oh, really?
knew I didn't, and I'm so glad I didn't when I first
Yeah.
watched it because
Major
I
Marvel.
it made it more fun because I was like, wait, this is just Jaws.
Or
And then I looked it up and found out, oh, it was a Jaws, complete Jaws ripoff. But I was like, it looked like a fin, sticking up what is it, the handle of the thing, while I was going through the grass. And I was like, that's freaking clever, like, and then the
yeah,
music
really.
was was a
The
Jaws
music
ripoff. What?
and the music was spot on. And the cinematography was good, like going through the grass and whatnot.
Yeah,
Just like
absolutely.
swimming through the water.
Okay, and their mangled bodies are discovered the next morning. Later that day, another club member, Mr. Simpkins, is also killed, and his bloody remains are found near the same hole as the one where the teenagers' bodies were discovered. Norman Osgood, the owner of Tallgrass, is determined to keep the news of the murders private, as he and the rest of the club prepares for an upcoming nationally televised golf tournament. Now, the keeping of the private is just that's the scene in what is it in Jaws where they're on the boat. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie too. It's just like as a kid I probably wanted to fast forward through that stuff and get to the
Yeah.
murders and stuff, but as an adult I can appreciate what an amazing scene that was, considering um you know in the real Jaws, like Steven Spielberg was not respected as a director there by most of the crew. I don't know if the cast respected him or like, treated him well or what. I'm guessing Richard Dreyfuss did because they worked together again. But
Yeah.
a lot of people thought he was too young to be directing them. I think he was like 21, 23, something like that, maybe. Maybe 25 at the most, but I'm guessing younger. And he people were like, why is this 20 something year old telling us what to do? On this Universal picture movie. Nowadays that doesn't seem uncommon, you know.
Not at all.
But back then really it was like 30-year-old men, or whatever, directing people on big movies and stuff. So, but yeah, that scene was so amazing in the, originally in Jaws with them on the boat and talking about, oh, it could have been this, it could have been that. It's like, wait, what? No, you said earlier it was this, and they're like, no, it's that. Oh, well, I could have been wrong. It's like, you're gonna stand by that? I'll stand by that. It's fine. I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. But that's exactly like that. Keep the news private so people don't hear that there have been murders, by something. Um, yeah, okay. So, police chief Charlie Kimmel is brought in to investigate the murders. Meanwhile, Tallgrass's newest professional, former celebrity golf player Roy Kent, um, decides to investigate his or instigate his own investigations and discovers a number of clues, including oil stains, paths of mowed grass, and a busted golf ball found near Simpkins' body. What'd you think of that? You're like I guess all the clues that he found while he was investigating, and the chief of police and the detectives aren't even finding this crap.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. After a young caddy becomes the latest victim, a meeting is held.
Yeah, and that was hilarious because that's like, when the kid dies or whatever, it's
Yeah. Yeah, before the mom comes over and slaps him and
yeah,
stuff or whatever in the thing. But yeah, that's supposed to be like that.
because he's
Um,
like finding all the balls and it's like, come the fuck on. Because she keeps hitting him. Yeah, that part's pretty funny.
okay, a meeting is held and Kimmel declares the necessity of a course-wide maniac hunt for the
Yeah, I
killer.
love the maniac hunt part. It was so funny. Everyone's going so wild.
Well, that was the, you know, that was
Exactly.
that scene, you
And they
know.
captured it perfectly.
It's so fun when they do stuff like that because
Yeah,
I think Suburban Sasquatch has stuff like that, where people are
yeah,
getting all excited. I'm gonna hunt the Sasquatch. Let's go looking
yeah.
for it, right? And stuff. So yeah, love that kind of stuff. Um, I gotta write a scene like that at some point, for one of my silly movies. Um, Chaos quickly erupts throughout the golf course, and the club members unanimously accuse former club member Deke Slade of being the killer after they find him on the golf course trying to start up the lawnmower. By the way, that scene where they're interrogating him. It's probably my favorite bit in the whole movie, and I think I'm correct, there was a really good line in that. Uh, Dang, if you look up Blades, it does not pop up on
Oh, I know.
IMDb
I had trouble with it too, actually.
on IMDb and stuff. It's just, because there's
IMDb
so many
problem.
blades of something or blades
Blades of
something.
Glory, Blades of I don't know.
All right. So oh, they don't have any. Oh my God,
No quotes.
no quotes. What? Can I write? I had to have written that down because there was one I loved to death, and I need to. I think I wrote it in my notes. Oh God, come on, for real? I did not. I thought I did, or did I? I wrote it out somewhere. I must have sent it to Rebecca. Blades. Um. Uh. Hold on. Nope. No. Sorry. I don't know. There was a great line in Blades where, the guy's just giving his whole spiel and stuff about the what's going on in at the golf course. Nobody knows what's going on but him. He can see it
Yeah.
all and everything, and people are just, not taking this seriously and whatnot. And just love that. Like, I just love that scene. Um, During the police interrogation, that's the part. Deke claims
Yeah,
that a large lawnmower is attacking people by itself. And then like that was the funniest part is like they weren't believing him, but the way they were saying it just sounded ridiculous anyway, you know?
yeah,
And I'm like, I wouldn't believe a lawnmower was killing people either, you
me
know?
neither.
Right? If somebody came into your house, right, that you knew and was like, your lawnmower is going out there and attacking people, you would laugh
I
at
would
them, right?
laugh and call the police and tell them, get rid of this guy.
Yeah,
He's
right.
crazy.
This guy has cracked somehow or whatever. And so it makes total sense that they would be like, this guy's going around pretending and saying it's a lawnmower so that he can go and kill all these people and that's his, thing. And because, whatever. It's just funny. Um, and he has been trying to track down and stop it, but is dismissed as being insane and gets locked up in the police station. Norman convinced that Deke was the killer, decides to proceed with the upcoming tournament. Because we got the killer, right? The killer's
Yeah, that's what
in
you think. You
custody.
don't think it's a lawnmower on
Right.
its own.
And yep. Roy is skeptical,
They
however,
have
and later
that big televised, event.
yeah, and they find the lawnmower, right? I mean, is that before or after that? Yep. Okay. So Roy is skeptical, however, and later that night, he and his assistant professional, Kelly Lang, sneak into the club and cut open the bag of the lawnmower Deke was using and discover that it contains grass and no body parts, implying that the real killer is
And a
still out there.
Playboy
And Playboy.
and
Uh,
golf ball.
and golf balls. Yeah. I mean,
Of
I don't
course.
know though. Could it suck up golf balls though?
Who knows?
I don't know. I've never ran over a golf ball because I just mowed my lawn today. I just forgot about that. I didn't even think about that. I mowed my lawn today and it did not attack me.
Good.
Yeah, I had no problems with my lawnmower. Um, I don't know. They never explain why the lawnmower is doing this. Like there's no
That makes it so much more wonderful to
yeah,
me.
because I hate when people sort of have to have an explanation,
Yeah. You don't
because
always need one. It's just ridiculous for it just to
right,
be.
because like nobody's really going to be there telling them it was possessed by a shaman who, was upset
Yeah.
because the golf course was on his Indian burial ground. Or it was the golf course was built on an Indian burial ground. That could have
Yeah.
been,
You don't
you
need
know,
all that
but
backstory.
you can make it up yourself. That's going to be my take. That the golf course was built on an Indian burial ground, and the Native Americans are upset that the spirits and they go into the lawnmower and cause havoc. I don't know. One on the day of the tournament, Roy and Kelly secretly hire a number of spotters to survey the course and ensure that the players remain safe. Right as the game ends, the course is invaded by a Senate lawnmower, which brutally kills golfer Squire Evans and terrorizes the locals. That scene was so great when he was just running
Oh,
rampant,
it's
just
so fun.
just attacking everybody,
Yeah.
and people are just trying to get out of the way of this crazed lawnmower, which you never like in the beginning. It's just like Jaws. You don't see the lawnmower.
Yeah. And the reveal's great. It's perfectly done.
Yeah, it's, because just like Jaws, you do see it at the third act. You really get to see it. Now, you sort of see it in, uh, do you see it in this for, in the beginning? Like when the, not when the Alex is killed in Jaws, you don't see the shark. But do you see the shark later in Jaws? Like, you sort of see the outline of him when he's like going to the pond and everything. And stuff, you sort of see the outline of him. I mean, but you don't really see,
You
see
don't get a
him.
good look.
Yeah, you don't get a good look at him until later. And honestly, in 4K, it looks it looks bad in a way.
Oh
Because
yeah, I
like,
know. I have okay.
yeah, because um the greatest thing about it is everything else looks great, which is great. But then you see the shark, and the shark was a puppet. like basically a model, like a thing. So when it's chomping on the person, you can tell it's, you know, it's
Yeah.
not a real, like it's not a real shark. It's a puppet. And you can tell in that thing. And so like when Quentin is getting eaten, you're like, oh my God,
Oh yeah.
that looks so fake. It looks like
It's
he's just being
cool.
swallowed by a puppet, that's just taken
Yeah.
away. And that's the problem with 4K. Rebecca and I talk about this all the time, especially because we watch movies in 4K that were in the 80's and that were not meant to be on 4K. Like they were never,
Exactly. A lot of movies like that.
yeah, like you just see too much and then you're like, it's not as good. But, Jaws is a beautifully filmed movie, so the other stuff like the scenery and the shots of the water and you know what I mean, and things like that are just beautiful. But
Yeah.
then you see other things like, and I
Eh,
can see sort of why he didn't want people to see the shark most of the time, you know?
Yeah.
Unlike there's
Which
a movie out there called Dead Sea. I don't know if you saw that movie. It's a creature feature, but there is no creature. You never see the creature.
is that? Yeah, I think I have seen that.
And
Is it
the funniest thing that I heard about that movie is that they never got to see it because the creature was never sent to them. It was made and never sent to the production. So, and they had to make the movie quickly, so they just did it without the creature, and
doesn't
I'm
work
just
out?
like, that's terrible, But yeah. All right. So, let's see. On the day, okay, wait, I already wait. So I got sort of up there, which really kills. Okay, now knowing that Deke was telling the truth, Roy gets Norman to release him from prison before meeting up with Deke at an old metal works factory. 'Cause why not, right?
Why not?
Roy offers Deke $20,000 if he agrees to help him and Kelly deal with the lawnmower, and he accepts. However, he doesn't want Kelly up first. And he doesn't want Roy. He wants to do it himself,
Yeah.
just like Quint. It's like, I'll take care of it
Exactly.
my own damn self, and he's like, no, if I'm giving you $20,000, I'm coming with you. I'm making sure it gets done, right? I'm glad because,
You'd say go for it. I'm going away.
was that what you would say? You $20,000, go kill the thing and I'm out of here?
Yeah.
That'd be a waste of $20,000 because he
It
don't
would
come.
because he just dies anyway.
Yeah, you would just die then, and then you'd lose $20,000 unless you could go over to his dead body and take your money back. Which I don't know how you can explain that to everybody. Roy, Kelly, and Deke devise a plan involving them tossing balloons attached to hay bales from a van to bait the
So great.
lawnmower into attacking. That night, Deke reveals that the lawnmower was once owned by his father. Okay, okay, they do explain it. Okay. So they said was once owned by his father, former greenskeeper of Tallgrass, who was decapitated by the mower in an apparent suicide the day after he was fired. The next morning, the mower attacks. Roy accidentally crashes the van into in an ensuing chaos. Unable to repair the engine, Kelly devises a plan to disable the mower by pouring sugar into the gas tank.
That was so funny.
Isn't that what you do to get like, to mess up
Yeah.
whatever. Makes sense. And Deke offers to be the one to lure the mower to the van. The plan fails, however, and Deke is killed. And that picture that I showed earlier of just him being, eaten by the lawnmower. Roy manages to toss an explosive device into the mower, however, and successfully, that's my favorite part, putts a golf ball into it, causing the mower to catch fire and explode. The end.
So wonderful.
I mean, that scene right there where he's like, four, and he knocks it right into
It's
it. And he does it like once and it doesn't work. So, but they didn't do the one thing. They didn't say, you son of a bitch. And
yeah, smile, you son of a bitch.
yeah, and the by the way, John Johnson is making a movie. He's in the process of it. It's been being made for years and hopefully one day it'll get finished. It's called Shark You Son of a Bitch. And it
That's
was
a great title.
right, and he came up with it on the our podcast for Snow Shark because we were
Wow.
watching Snow Shark, and he was like, well, he first wanted to do a movie about a CG shark that would attack everybody, and he was going to call it CG Shark, you know. And so I looked it up and I found out there was a movie called Bad CGI Shark,
Which is a
and
wonderful movie, by the way.
which was his idea, like the idea that he had in his head. I was like, damn it, I can't do that. So then he was like, well, there's so many movies, Jaws ripoffs where they say you son of a bitch, that I'm gonna just make a movie called Shark You Son of a Bitch. And so
Great title.
yeah, you'd watch that, right?
Yeah,
Paul will hopefully be in it.
that'd be
He filmed a
awesome.
scene for it.
Really?
Yeah, he wanted me to, and I didn't get a chance to I could probably still because it's not done yet, so I don't know if they could still use me, but I just didn't film my stuff. It's just I don't know. Like honestly, I'd rather be there than film a scene and send it in,
Yeah, yeah,
because I'm
of
I'm
course.
I'm one of those people.
I totally get that.
Yeah. So, I mean, not that I, all I probably ask is hopefully I get a special thanks for it,
Yeah,
for having the podcast that initiated the idea because we were just chit-chatting about because he didn't really like Snow Shark, I don't think. He just found Snow Shark to sort of be a little bit boring, you know? Um, I I enjoy it because I love Sam Qualiana.
yeah,
I've worked
yeah.
with him and he's a really sweet guy. And uh I'm the one who kind of suggested uh Jackie Hall. And in the commentary, Sam unfortunately does not like Sam in the commentary sort of says guy I knew, and he didn't say my name. And I'm wondering if that was like because he didn't want because never asked for my permission to say my name,
Yeah.
or whatever, or if it was because we just haven't talked in forever and stuff. And maybe, I don't know, like whatever. Let's see if there's any interesting things in the production. Okay, Ron Danella stated during an interview that the idea of Blades came about during the production of Schoolgirl Screamers, another film in which he, Finnegan, and Pace worked on together. When Finnegan mentioned it was a future project, having expressed interest in working on it, Ron Danella and Pace were hired by Finnegan to write the script, and they did it in 9 days.
Oh shit.
Now, I mean, come on, just like cut and
It's a
paste
rip off of Jaws,
fucking
so
scenes in Jaws. You just say, okay, what happened in this scene? Okay, rewatch, play that scene again. All right, what's happened in this scene? Okay, play that scene again. What's gonna happen in this next scene? Like
it's like Scary Movie.
scary movie was parody though, but
This is the parody.
yeah.
I
Um,
mean,
there's only
this
one good scene in fucking.
movie took scenes from mostly Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer and whatever else, but it is like very much like Scream, and I feel like kind of in the same way this is very much Jaws.
Yeah. The only scene I really liked in that movie, I don't know if it was Scary Movie 1 or 2, was the one where they were at there it was a parody of the I think it was number 1, and it was like the parody of the theater and scene, and the person goes into the bathroom and they hear like the person in the peephole or
Oh
whatever,
yeah,
and then the dick comes out and like
yeah.
and I'm just like that's just a Chris Seaver joke, man. Like that's something
Yeah.
that Chris Seaver would have done. Not I didn't expect Damon Wayans to do, but it was my favorite part of the movie. I thought like, how did they
Funny.
get away with that? Like, in the
They got
theater.
away with a lot in those movies
I know.
too.
Then they
Anyway,
did the haunted house movies, which I have not seen yet, which are
I
like,
might have watched one. I don't remember.
okay. Well, I need to watch it at some point, but the film was shot over the course of 8 weeks over the course. No pun intended.
8 weeks.
Well, no, the pun was course
Like, oh, yeah. No, I
over
was
the
just
course.
saying I'm surprised it took them 8 weeks to shoot it.
Yeah, in Villas, New Jersey, Rondinella has described the film as being an intentional parody of Jaws. Now, I mean, is it a parody?
It's
Or
a
is
parody.
it a straight up Yeah, I guess it's a parody.
It's a parody. I wouldn't
Okay.
call it a ripoff. It is a straight up parody, just like Airplane as of Airport and so on.
Apparently, if you talk to John, I think it's John Ward, knows about like it wasn't just a ripoff of Airport. There was another movie. He just
I'm
can't remember what it was that it actually literally it's scene by scene a parody of, just like this is.
yeah.
So there's another movie where like the scene in the cockpit and the scenes in the
I have
eh,
uh,
what?
I have to look that up. I love Airplane, but I'm not sure what movie.
So on January 27th, 2004, the film was released on DVD for the first time as a triple feature with two other Troma
Yeah.
titles, Blood Hook and Zombie Island Massacre. So you're right.
Yeah.
In October, I didn't think you were wrong, but you seemed to be like
No, I
wondering if
know.
you were right. You
I knew
know,
Blood Hook and I was like, yeah, about Zombie Island Massacre, but
in October 2021, Vinegar Syndrome released the film on Blu-ray for the first time. This contains newly commissioned bonus features, including, all that stuff. So nice. So that's the Wikipedia thing. Uh, uh, you know, what is it? Which are apparently the work of a possessed lawnmower. So, I thought everybody in the film did a great job. The actors did a great job.
definitely.
The
They're all,
cinematography, as you pointed out, was great. You know,
yeah.
it's very spot on Jaws. Let's see, music. I mean, pretty
The
much I
music
felt like I was listening to,
Jaws
somebody.
rip.
Yeah, it felt everything felt Jaws, like all of the music felt like it could have worked for Jaws, like a Jaws sequel or something. Now, about this time, so they had done all these other homages and everything. This is 1989 that they made this or whatever. I'm wondering, when was Jaws the Revenge? Was that 89 or was that 88?
That I am not sure.
Jaws, the Revenge, 87. Okay, I'm wrong. So it had been 2 years since anybody had even seen a Jaws movie. That was fucking smart, actually, because first of all, nobody has seen a Jaws movie in 2 years, an actual Jaws like
Yeah,
sequel. So people are probably itching to get Jaws again. It
yeah,
wouldn't be like they released it the same year as Jaws 3 or Jaws 2, where people are sort of already like, okay, we just watched Jaws again. We don't need another. But like 2 years, people are just like, let me get, they got an itch for some more Jaws stuff, which
yeah.
I like. I, you know, I don't know. I love Jaws. I think,
I mean,
you do too. Yeah. You're a shark person.
I'll be
Like
this way.
you love everything shark wise.
I do.
What got you into sharks, by the way?
Sharknado. Well, when I was younger, I liked sharks and stuff, but after and I liked Jaws when I was younger,
Was
although
that the
I've never
first
been a
shark
shark
movie
guard.
you ever saw was Jaws?
I believe so. I remember watching it on cable and wanting more shark action. I wanted,
You
'cause who
wanted
doesn't
less
when
of
they're
the story
younger?
between everything that was going on.
Yeah, when you're
'Cause
a kid, that's what you want to
that's what I'm
see.
saying. Like when I watched that movie, like as a kid, I was like, I don't want to hear about the family stuff and the political shit that's going on in this movie in the town or whatever, and all that stuff. Like and the meeting, I like the meeting with Quint because he did the whole scratching of the you know
Oh,
um
the chalk. Yeah.
the chalkboard. But I like that part for that scene because I love everybody like looking up. You know, what is
Oh
that?
yeah, it's great. He's a great
Right? It
character.
was so over the top. Then I was like, fast forward until like, I think I used to own it on beta, or whatever.
Oh shit.
Like a copied version on beta, not an actual like
I
from
recorded it off of
VHS
cable.
to beta.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do. Not allowed to do that, but there's no proof of it anyway. So other than me saying that, confessing to it. So oops, you know. But I don't think anybody's gonna care. That happened. People did it all the time. I mean, they say do not copy and,
Yeah,
FBI warning, this is whatever. But like, I've never heard of anybody who got in trouble for doing that. You know,
no, either
like,
actually.
nowadays people just steal the movie online, and everything and pirate it. Terrible, you know. And I don't recommend it unless, you want to have it on DVD and somebody's selling the DVD, but the DVDs are not on like are not available. They don't Some
Exactly.
streaming services don't put out the DVD of the movie,
Yep.
no physical copy of the
A lot of them
movie.
don't, unfortunately.
What?
A lot of them don't put them out physical,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it's terrible. So I would rather have a copy, even if it's bootlegged, of a movie, than whatever. But I really enjoyed this movie. I think all the characters are just wacky enough
It's
where it worked.
Yeah, I think it works really well. It's again, they kind of play it straight, even though the characters are wacky, whatever. It's a great parody and it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
They know what it is, and you can tell they're all having fun, and it's just ridiculous concept, and it's a fun flick.
So you don't have this on the Vinegar Syndrome?
No, I should pick it up, but I have the old DVD.
It's weird. Vinegar Syndrome sometimes do go to like horror conventions and stuff. Like they're at
Just
Texas
saw them at
Frightmare every
Cinema
year.
Wasteland, but I didn't pick this one up.
They were at Cinema Wasteland?
They're there every year, yeah.
Ah! Okay, we're going to Cinema Wasteland next
I
year for
picked up
sure.
a Frostbiter and 16 Tongues
Was
from there.
Arrow there too?
No, Severin always has a table. Trauma usually has a table.
Trauma.
Synapse has a table, and
I
Vinegar.
will buy from Uncle Lloyd a another Blu-ray from them. And like I said, I know their Blu-rays are pretty much the movie, like
Yeah,
the DVD copy of the movie. Like it's not upgraded. They say HD, but I don't think it's really like much upgraded. You know what I mean? Like transfer wise, because they're trauma. They just and God bless them, because movies like this don't get put out by Universal or well,
yeah.
Universal definitely probably would not touch this.
I
Um,
want them. Oh,
Actually, if they did, I would be skeptical. Like, you've heard of so many stories where the people have bought movies or whatever just so that they can shelve them and so that nobody will watch them,
yeah,
you know?
unfortunately, that's always really sad.
I know, and they do that on purpose because they don't want it like,
Not
competing
being-
with something else that they're doing. And so it would make sense that, maybe Universal would have had a Jaws, you
Yeah,
know, they were thinking about maybe doing a Jaws at some point again, and they don't want something competing with them. So they would buy it and go, we're just gonna put it on the shelf and never touch it and stuff. A lot of times they put stuff on the shelf and don't even know it's theirs anymore. Like, I remember hearing Kevin Smith was in a was pitching to Universal about what is it, Mallrats, doing a Mallrats series, and they go, we own that? That's ours? Oh,
that's
we,
sad.
yeah, because well, I mean they own a lot, but like that's the sad thing is like they're not gonna touch that because they don't care. Like it's not their thing. So anyway, I don't know. I think I'm glad that people like Trauma came out and put this out, and then people like Vinegar Syndrome are giving it a better release.
Yeah, giving it new life.
Yeah, I'm not sure how picky they are, because they got Blood Hook. Did they do Zombie Island Massacre, I wonder?
They did. They
Okay,
did.
so they did that too. So they did the triple feature. So you can have the triple feature in separate things, which I like better because now they're putting it on, uh one disc and it's got all the extras and stuff and not like three discs together, or even one disc with all three movies. How was it? Like, was it all three movies, like in separate discs, or was it like one movie?
Oh no, it's all on the same disc.
Oh, God. That looks even worse because
Oh,
it's
I
all
know. And they were like
compressed.
advertising what V3 Media or something like, oh, this amazing technology to put three movies on one disc. And it's kind of a funny time capsule to watch that.
Because it's not good. People always complain about it. It's like
Yeah.
any physical media lover, truly, looks at that and says, not my cup of tea. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I'll definitely have to give it a rewatch and listen to the commentary and
Yeah.
watch the complete documentary about it. I love that stuff. So Vinegar Syndrome, thank you for, not giving us a bare bones release of the movie where it's just the movie and maybe a trailer or something. Some companies still do that sometimes, depending on if they can get, but if you can get the director of this film to do a commentary track and talk about the movie, because I guarantee there wasn't one on the Troma release, right?
No,
No.
I don't
Uh,
think
They're
there is.
they're usually like introduction by Uncle Lloyd in those.
Yeah, introduction to Michael Lloyd, trauma trailers, Radiation March, shit like that.
That would be the only reason I'd want to have a copy of that is just for, like the Uncle Lloyd
Yeah.
introduction, 'Because
I'm trying
he's
to
used
remember
what?
the DVD. I haven't watched the DVD in a while, so
Oh, but it doesn't like do each one, right? Or does it do each one have an introduction? Or does it do like
not the whole thing.
so it's like, oh, greetings from Tromaville. I'm Lloyd Kaufman, creator of the Toxic Avenger. I am gonna,
V3
talk about these
technology.
three movies that
Yeah,
you
pretty
have, right?
much.
Yeah. I met Lloyd and God, and I got to interview him with Paul, and we, you've met him, like
Yep.
he's the sweetest freaking man in the world, and his like the lady that helped run his table was so freaking sweet. When we came back to ask, she was like, "Oh no, can you come back this time?" And came back, and then eventually we got it, and she was like, "Okay, okay, you guys got like 15 minutes, to interview him if that's okay," and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, do it in 10. I think we did in 10 minutes. And Jessa is in that interview, Jessa Flux, because she was a Tromette, and he was like, "Oh, you want to see the Tromettes here?" And he must show off everybody. You
Yeah,
know,
they were all just at Cinema Wasteland too, Lloyd and Jessa and everyone. So
yeah. Had you met Jessa before?
yeah, I've met her. I think at
Okay, so this
Wasteland
wasn't
Fest.
your first one, right? First
Yeah,
time meeting her.
yeah.
Okay, well that's cool. I once again I'm excited. The plan for now, unless things change, is that Paul and I are planning to go to Cinema Wasteland. We would like to have a table there, but I don't know how easy it is to get a table.
Not easy.
Like how did you have to get it early, like when they announced it
You're
or
usually
something?
put on a waiting list.
Oh, for real?
Mhm.
And you were on a waiting list, and they were
I
just like,
was through 2019 and then what, 2021, 22?
and they finally gave you in 2023?
Yeah, yeah. And now I
Oh,
get my table every year, so I have my table.
Jesus.
This was my fourth one, so I think 2022 April was my first time vending.
Okay. So it took like 3 years before you actually got to. Oh,
Of
wow.
course, COVID was between that, so remember that.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there's maybe 1 year that they probably didn't even have
Yeah,
it or something because of.
doesn't hurt, but I would reach out now.
Oh
Hey,
boy,
I'm
do
just
you have
telling
to pay or do you have to do a down payment or no?
yeah, you have to pay for your table. I mean,
I know, but like,
they'll let you know if one's available, and they'll ask for a payment.
okay, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I'm not too worried. If we
or
don't
just
get a
go
table,
online.
if we don't get a table, I'm fine with it. I did you see Chris Seaver again?
I missed him there. I know he was there, but I guess I
Yeah, he
didn't
said he
run
was
it.
gonna be there.
I
but
saw some people who had pictures with him, but he must yeah, we missed each other.
I've been to two horror conventions back to back. I just looked this up. They were actually back to back, literally. It was like September, but there were one was Horrified. I don't know if you ever gone there,
No.
or heard of it, but it was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And so we went up, me and my friend and his friend went up to Gettysburg and Horrified and early September, then sort of mid to late September, my friend randomly just calls me up and was like, "Hey, do you want to go down to, or do you want to go up to Monster Mania in Maryland, and stuff?" And I like today, like, tonight, you know, and I was like, sure. Yeah, I didn't have work the next day, so I was like, sure. So
Yeah, why
he we got a hotel by because all the hotel was sold out. The host hotel was sold out on a Saturday night, of course. And so this guy who was a Freddy Krueger guy let us, but the Chris Seaver connection was that Chris was at both conventions, and I was walking into the hotel, to go to check in, and I said, I wonder if Chris Seaver is here, and he walked right out when I said that. So then the next the next convention I was at that I knew he was going to be there, I looked over at my friend who knew him and we're walking through the convention. I said, I wonder if Chris Seaver will be here. He was literally walking right next to me when I
Oh,
said
that's
that.
great.
And I'm like, am I like the Chris Seaver whisperer?
I
You
guess
know,
so.
like it's kind of funny, but I've bought
That's
a bunch of his stuff recently. He would do something like this, like this would have
yeah,
been. I have to ask at some point to him, like, are you a fan of Blades? Because this seems
I
like
feel like
something that he would just absolutely love out of like, the goofiness of horror films out there. But yeah, I prefer Blades over Bloodhook. Um, just because Bloodhook wasn't funny, so it was sort of like it wasn't a parody of anything. It wasn't,
yeah,
and it was
it's
very
just
straight slasher, and it felt like I like it. I think it's a fun movie, but
yeah,
it's not nearly as enjoyable because this is just
goofy.
balls to wall goofy. Yeah, yeah. So there you go. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up for the chat on 80's horror films for this episode. Join me next month. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet or who I'm having. But I have a couple ideas, and I'm going to be recording it next month anyway, so we'll see. But until then, though, keep checking the 80's horror films group. Um, I'm sorry, like my biggest problem with it is there's a lot of spam in that group, and so there's a lot of what is it? Like nudity. There's like these
Oh,
webcam people and stuff that just like, you know, kind of post in the stuff. I don't know if you've ever noticed that with some of the groups or
I've
whatever.
seen it in groups. Yeah,
Yeah, and we got to clean that up. And so I am on the block of those, but I have to kind of private everything in a way. Like I have to make it's a public
yeah,
group, but I have to like make it where I'm at, where people can submit and then I have to approve of everything. And
of course.
and
Yeah,
since I'm the only one, and I know Rebecca has said she
that's a
would
lot.
do it, but there is a lot of people who post like per day, and I
Yeah,
think I might need to get like more than one person to help
probably.
out because I can't catch it all, and it doesn't even show up most of the time unless it goes, oh, this person, and then I look and I have like 100 that I missed, and I'm like, you're telling me now? Like, I never saw this before.
Yeah,
So if you guys are posting in there and it's taking forever for me to actually do that, approve, understand that hopefully in the next month or so, I'll probably try to get more people like admins
another
who
for
have a little
sure.
bit more time and can because I'm busy and I can't approve everything all the time. If I was online all, 'cause they literally it happens every day, all day long. And can you imagine like it's like when you get those birthday messages. It'd be like getting that every
Oh my
day.
God. It takes a lot of work to go through all that.
I know, and I appreciate it because that means like
Yeah.
over whatever how many people, 500 or
I,
whatever
yeah.
of my 5,000 friends actually wish me happy birthday, which I like look, 500 is better than nothing, or better than 499, like
Yeah.
it's nice. It's sweet. I love all of you guys that do that. But going through all of them and I asked Brian O'Halloran, Dante from Clerks once. I said, you always send a happy birthday to me like every year. Like I'm always surprised by that, and I'm very grateful. But I'm like surprised, and he was like, I do it for everybody because it's a simple thing you can do per day. Go through your thing and just say happy birthday to everybody. Doesn't have to be this big, thing or whatever. Just
Yeah.
say
True.
that and do that. And I was like, dang. And I still don't do that. I forget and
Yeah, I don't either. I see a lot of birthdays. I'm like, I'll get to it later. I'm at work, whatever, and then I forget.
I'll get to it whenever I feel like
Yeah, unfortunately. I know
Yep,
that's funny.
unfortunately. But anyway, thank you all for listening and listening to us jibber jabber about everything. We love it. We love these movies. Tell us what's your favorite scene in all of this movie. And this movie has wacky, wacky, tacky scenes. Like I loved it. You know,
Yeah, like I said, yeah, my favorite scene was the lawnmower
getting cut.
cutting it up.
I actually, you know what? Before you even said that, I thought of that scene because it was so weird. You know,
It's so funny.
it's so bizarre in a way. Like to kind of see.
It really is.
Yeah, to see them cutting open a bag and seeming to
Yeah, it's
spill and I was wondering if
ridiculous.
they were going to do that scene. There were some scenes they could not do, just because of time and money and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
But there were some scenes that they wanted to do that I think they scripted that they just didn't get done. So, if there was a scene in Jaws that you were sad that believe me, I bet they had an idea for it and they just
yeah,
couldn't do it at that time. There's so many great scenes in Jaws. That's the problem with doing this, like ripping off a movie like this or whatever, parodying a movie like this is, it's not an hour and a half. It's literally 2 hours long. So you're gonna have 30 minutes that you're not gonna be able to do, shot for shot if you're trying to keep it to a good length, because I hate to say it. I mean, Jaws is great because it's 2 hours and it works, but like smile, you son of a bitch. I mean, he said four, but he should have said four, you son of a bitch,
yeah.
right? Like, why? That was a missed opportunity, but
That was. Or
whatever.
you never know you're gonna need a bigger boat, right?
They didn't, yeah. And I think he said they had a line where they were gonna say, we're gonna need a bigger lawnmower or whatever. We're gonna need a bigger what was it? What was that
Golf
thing?
club.
Whatever. What?
I was gonna say golf club or so who
Yeah,
knows.
whatever. We're gonna need no, but we're gonna need a bigger it was that big thing that they were on, and they were gonna say we're gonna need a bigger
Oh
wheel.
yeah, I still don't know what it's
And
called.
but yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but they said they did have that line, and I guess they just didn't film it or something or whatever,
Missed opportunity.
what?
Missed opportunity.
I mean, there are a few missed opportunities, especially, like I said, the scene where I mean, they could have had anybody doing that scene where, the person is mimicking them and everything, and it would have been
Yeah.
even funny if it were Naked Gun or Airplane. It would have been like really weird, funny faces that the person was making, and the person was imitating them doing all the, or whatever. But no. It was okay. It was a great movie. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Oh,
I wanna, it's a movie I'd watch over and over and over again. Um, just because it's just so
It's
wacky
fun.
and bizarre. And something I'm definitely would love to just show somebody that's never seen it.
Exactly, and get their reaction.
Yeah, see what they think. Because this is a popcorn movie. This is a movie you sit around with your friends and you just enjoy it,
For sure.
with popcorn and and usually beer, but I don't drink. You drink, so
I did.
you can have all the beer, and I will just sit there with the soda and energy drink and have
Enjoy it
fun.
all the same.
Right, exactly. Well, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys think. And we will be back. Well, I will be back next week. I think Madeline, you are done with 90's horror films. I think we just had our for
Our
the time
season's
being
out.
until next season.
Yeah,
So, wow, yeah, I don't know. We'll probably get you something else. I mean,
for
you
sure.
seem to be game for everything.
Usually, yes.
Yeah, depends on what it is, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Hope you guys enjoy this, and we will chat soon. Bye.
Bye.